Hi, I'm Luke Kubicek with OHS Magnet, and I did video interviews with Mr. Mark Randall, Mr. Mark Sebring, the school board president, and Mr. Elstead, our superintendent. And these interviews contain lots of stuff on what's going on with this school and possibly a new school and the future of our school. I'm Luke Kubicek, and I'm here with Mr. Mark Randall, the principal here at OHS, and today we're going to talk a little bit about the facilities and what's possibly coming up. So nice to have you.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Luke.
So the first question I have for you is, well, how were you involved? What was your involvement in the recent events of this coming up and stuff?
Yeah, so, my involvement's been more kind of, I guess you'd call it consulting. Mm-hmm. So when, the community task force would have questions and things like that, I'd be able to answer a lot of those questions. And then there are also, like with our architects and with part of the steering committee within that, I would be, I was a part of some of that just to, again, be able to answer questions and be able to provide some additional insight if they needed that as it relates to our high school.
Okay, all right. So, and then that's a pretty big role. And then, but then why do we need this right now? Like, why is it happening and why is it a necessity?
Yeah, so, with the facilities task force came, to the conclusion that there are a lot of different reasons for the need for a new high school. Part of it was the age of the facility, the $30 to $35 million in deferred maintenance that needs to be done at some point here in the near future. And then probably most importantly, looking at the educational, really the educational setting that we want students to be able to learn in to better prepare them for college and careers. And so that was probably a bigger role that I played in communicating that to the task force and some things that we would like to do as it relates to what we call career pathways and getting students better experiences within our building to help help the students make more informed decisions.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And then, so some people say, or no, what greater things can we achieve through having a state-of-the-art high school, and how will that affect the learning of students?
Yeah, I think, the biggest thing with the idea of the new high school would be what we call this 21st century learning environment for students to be able to be in. So some of the things I hear from our business partners is that they would like, students to potentially have certifications in certain areas, be able to work on equipment that is industry standard, and be able to do some of those types of things. When you look at classroom space and different opportunities there to be able to have opportunities for students to be able to collaborate, to be able to use technology, to be able to work in an environment that's comfortable. And then of course there's activities in athletics, which are co-curricular activities that we have some limitations on with gym size, space, and with our theater space right now we have some limitations. Even going back to the educational setting, even within our music programs, we have limited space for students to be able to practice and to be able to do, some things there too. So having a new facility will create a whole different learning environment for our students.
Okay. So, and then one last question is, what do you have to say to people? Some people think that it's not about the building and it's about like what is learned inside, and like you can't really change that by getting a new building. What do you say to people that think that way?
Yeah, and that's a great question. And I think the answer to that is, rather than saying that, I would hope people would ask that question and find the answer to it. So I'll give you an example of what a new facility could do for some of our students. So in the area of what we call manufacturing, we would be able to outfit a state-of-the-art welding and really machining lab so that students can use equipment that is consistent with what they're using out at Cybex and out at Wenger and out at Daikin and some of our other places out there. So that's just like one small example of a learning experience that would change in a new facility where we can't do that right now because we don't have the space to be able to do that at this time.
Well, thank you very much for coming.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
The bond amount will be coming out on Monday, and this is the amount that voters will be voting on whether they want to approve the new school or not.